If you've ever tried to measure something with a tape measure, you probably thought to yourself, what are all those little lines for? A good way to answer that question would be to try to design your own tape measure and see what it takes. Suppose you wanted to measure the length of this white object. You could take a stick and make marks at equal intervals. Now for our discussion, let's make the equal intervals exactly 1 inch, since that's a standard where we live and we want our stick to measure the same thing as other people's sticks. When placed next to our object, we measure it to be 3 inches long. At this point, we would be done if all objects were exactly 1, 2, or 3 inches long. But what if the object is exactly between 2 and 3 inches? You could place a mark halfway in between and describe the length as 2.5 inches. If you cut it to a length that is exactly halfway between the 2-inch and the half-inch mark, it now becomes 2.25 inches long. If you divide the entire inch into 1/4 inch segments, we see that the object is now 2.75 inches long. Going back to the halfway mark, we could say it is now 2.25 inches long. However, it is more proper to say 2.5 inches, since 2/4 can be simplified to 1/2. If you now cut the object so that it's exactly halfway between 2 and 2.25 inches, what would its length be? If you guessed 2.1/8 inches, you are correct. We can now divide the inch into 1/8 inch sections. Here, 2 2/8 would be simplified to 2.25 inches. This would be 2 3/8 inches. 4/8 would be simplified to 1/2, making this once again 2.5 inches long. This would be 2 5/8 inches. 2 3/4 inches. Finally, 2 7/8 inches. You may have noticed a trend when dividing the inch into sections. The half-inch line is the longest. The next longest lines are the 1/4 inch marks. The 1/8 inch marks are next. The 1/16 inch marks are after that. Of course, all of the inches on a tape measure are divided in exactly the same way. If you would look closely at the hook on the end of a tape measure, you will notice that the hook slides left and right. It is designed to slide the distance of the thickness of the hook. When using the hook to measure from the end of an object, the hook is extended out. When measuring against a surface, the hook is pushed in. The more you practice reading a tape measure, the quicker and easier it will become.